Concussions are a common minor traumatic brain injury usually caused by a blow to the head. The effects should be temporary and typically go away within a month. According to Mayo Clinic, signs of a concussion include headaches, problems with concentration, memory, balance, and coordination. You may even pass out. Dr. Shelina Babul is the Associate Director and Sports Injury Specialist at the BC Injury Research and Prevention Unit. She created the Concussion Awareness Training Tool.
When you sustain a concussion or a suspected concussion and you don't recognize it and you continue to participate in your activity, whether that's sport or continuing to work or outdoor recreational activities, you are now 3 times more likely to sustain a second concussion, potentially more severe in nature and prolonging your recovery. And again, if that isn't recognized and you still continue to participate in activity, you're now 9 times more likely to sustain potentially significant brain damage and rare instance, possibly even death.
Dr. Babul used the example of an earthquake to explain what happens to your brain when concussed.
When there's an earthquake, you get fractures in the road, and cars can't proceed through the road until the road is repaired. And that's exactly what happens to your brain when there's a suspected concussion. It needs time, it needs 48 hours of immediate physical and cognitive rest so that the brain can repair and heal, so that your information can again be processed as it was. Your brain is your information highway that allows you to walk, to talk, to eat, to hear. You've only got one brain. It's the only organ that you cannot transplant. So we want people to really heed the warning, to understand if you're feeling signs and symptoms of a concussion, stop what you're doing, get a diagnosis, and get the right treatment and management.
A common piece of advice is to keep a concussed person awake or to wake them up every hour. Dr. Babul urges against this, citing that it's actually counterproductive.
The reason you don't wake them up is because you want them to sleep throughout the night, because when you're waking them up, essentially you're waking up the brain and you're not giving it that time to heal and repair. So, unfortunately, a lot of people don't recognize that. You let the individual sleep, you monitor them for normal breathing, normal skin color, no changes untoward, but you do let them sleep throughout the night at the initial diagnosis of 24 hours.
As far as sleep goes, there are recommendations for how much rest to get during different points in your recovery.
You want the brain to heal, so as much rest as possible within the 48 hours. Beyond 48 hours, we do not recommend oversleeping. You want to try to get back to your normal pattern of daily living, your normal activity, and you don't want to oversleep because that actually hinders your recovery. You also want to slowly start exercising at a gradual pace as tolerated. So you want to do a little bit every day, increasing your heart rate, waiting 24 hours to see if you have new or worsening symptoms. If you don't, you progress to the next stage. If you do, you regress back to the previous stage, wait 24 hours and try again. And this is part of a 6-stage return to activity, return to work, return to sport protocol that's available on the Concussion Awareness Training Tool.
Linked below, the Concussion Awareness Training Tool can be an essential part of learning how to recognize signs and symptoms of a concussion. It offers different resources for different scenarios to help you on your road to recovery, and courses are offered in both English and French. Signs and symptoms of a concussion can appear suddenly within 48 hours of the initial trauma, so it's important to stay vigilant and know what to look for. Ashley Keller, The Health Insider.